Hey fellow garage golfers, Roland here with Garage Golf, where we provide extraordinary golf info for the extraordinary golfer. And as you can see, we got two really cool, exciting boxes in from Mizuno. You're not going to want to miss this video. Stay tuned and check it out. Hi, thanks again for watching and welcome back. Here at Garage Golf, we provide information on golf products, golf equipment, golf simulators, and pretty much anything golf related. So if you're new to our channel, please make sure to subscribe and check our video description for affiliate links for certain products that we review, such as golf mats, golf screens, etc. It helps out our channel. We greatly appreciate it. Let's jump right into the video. Okay, so as you can see, a really exciting day for us here at Garage Golf. We got two brand new boxes from Mizuno Golf. We're looking forward to testing out for you. Let's not wait any longer. Let's go ahead and unbox these for you, show you what came to us here at Garage Golf, what we're gonna be testing for you from an everyday average golfer's perspective. Let's get into the unboxing, and then we're gonna get you all the data and everything that you wanna see at home. All right, so let's take a look under box number one. And Mizuno's packaging is actually really, really incredible. It's like looking under the hood of a race car for the first time. And I would use Ricky Bobby's line from the movie. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but we'll leave that for another time. So wanted to kind of show you the irons that came in here. Now, as far as packaging, I don't think anybody really has a packaging system like this as far as what I've seen. They really protect their irons. I've received some irons from other companies, and none of them have protected them like this one here. So we have the full set here of the JPX 921 forged irons. See if we can get that in the shot here. So we're looking at the JPX 921 forged, and I believe we have the entire set. These are beautiful irons. These can really appeal towards pretty much any handicap all the way down the line for the most part. It's basically what Mizuno is saying. So I'm really looking forward to testing these out because I feel these are right up my alley. And I'm going to show you the other box real quick. I'm going to show you what we have to work with, and then we're going to get straight into the testing. But packaging is absolutely incredible. Beautiful irons. Look forward to getting these out of the plastic and hitting some shots for you guys. All right, and box number two. You can't beat that Mizuno blue, by the way. Let's go ahead and open this one up for you guys now. Very similar to the other ones as far as packaging, how that's set up. Can't get that box fold flat. Here we go. Okay, and what we're looking at here are the JPX 921 hot metals. So these are going to be geared towards maybe a little bit higher handicap. So that's something to keep in mind. But let me show you that from your angle here. Very similar irons, very classic, very good looking irons, not too chunky, but still going to be geared towards giving a little bit more forgiveness. So we're going to take these out, we're going to get them all unwrapped, we're going to get them ready to go, and we're going to jump straight into some testing for you guys now at home. But I wanted to show you the packaging and the unboxing and what you can expect if you were to order irons from Mizuno. Now I just got to get the plastic off of pretty much 18 irons. You ever wonder why they make these things so darn difficult to take off? I mean, what is this thing made out of? Spider-Man's web or something? Die, plastic! Ugh. Ta-da! Piece of cake. That's literally going to take me the next 2 hours to take off every single plastic from these clubs, but it's worth it. All right, so I guess you could say the cat's out of the bag now, or in our case, you could probably say the cat's out of the box. Here's where we get the opportunity to test out today. The JPX 921 forged and the JPX 921 hot metal. Two different irons designed for two different golfers. We're going to find that out today. What we're going to do is we're going to test each of these irons from a low handicap, mid handicap, and high handicap perspective. We're gonna give you lots of data. We're gonna play lots of cool games for you guys. We're gonna see which of these clubs works for each of our individual swings. Danny, who's about a 5 handicap, myself around a 13, and Gilbert's around a 19. So we're gonna get lots of testing in with these clubs. But before we do that, I'm gonna actually take you into these clubs individually and what makes each of them unique and which one may be a better fit for you at home, at least on paper, before we get some of that testing done. So let's go ahead and start with the JPX 921 Forge. So let's give you a little bit more input. on this beautiful club. Obviously, these are forged in Hiroshima, Japan, which is where Mizuno's headquarters are as far as their facility where they forge their irons. And Mizuno's known, obviously, for the quality of their forged irons. So in these irons, Mizuno used chromoly 4120, which allows the club face up to 0.5 millimeters thinner. So it's going to have a little bit thinner club face altogether for a faster peak and average ball speeds from a full body forged iron. You're going to see that in the 4 to 7 irons of these beautiful clubs here. You're also going to notice the sleeker compact profile, which is a shorter blade length throughout, has beveled training edge and a reduced offset as well on these JPX 921 forged. They're also CNC back-milled, which is a 6.4% wider back-milled slot, which increases stability from off-center strikes from a smaller club head, according to Mizuno. In addition, Mizuno's added the stability frame, which is additional perimeter weighting or with a toe bias for stability from off-centered strikes. So even if you hit this off-centered, you're going to have a stronger, more stable frame with a 921 JPX forged irons. And lastly, obviously, and most appealing is going to be that pearl brush finish, which is absolutely stunning on these irons. Really, really beautiful, classic look to these. Incredible overall, and just an overall really, really beautiful club that really is appealing to the eye, and it's definitely going to stand out in your golf bag. And now I want to show you the JPX hot metal irons. And again, this is 2 out of 4 series. I also have the JPX Forged Tour and the JPX Hot Metal Tour. But what you're going to notice is that these clubs look very similar. You're not going to notice a huge difference between the two of them. Both very, very classy looking clubs. Both definitely could be put in your golf bag without there being really any showing. And Mizuno's always been really good about this as far as there being any showing of this being, say, a quote-unquote game improvement iron or anything like that. And in fact, if you were to look on Mizuno's website, you're not going to really see real detail specifics, whether it's based upon handicapped or anything else as far as this is the club that you want to go with. I think these are geared towards multiple golfers. And a good thing about it is you could even probably mix and match these sets accordingly as needed to give you some of the extra forgiveness on, say, your lower irons, like your 4, 5, and 6 irons. They're going to blend well together in your bag, and they look very, very classy, very, very similar. But let's go into a little bit more about the JPX Hot Metal. And again, this has a faster chromoly 4140M, which is their 3rd generation of designing and manufacturing irons using the chromoly process. It's a re-engineered Core-Tech face and is now 0.2 millimeters thinner across the center point, according to Mizuno. And some of the newer technology that you're going to see on this particular iron is the seamless face cup. That's a new variable thickness sole design that allows the leading edge to act as a hinge, resulting in greater flex face and ball speeds, according to Mizuno as well. They've also worked on the sound of these irons as well, and you'll see on the bottom on the sole of the club from behind what they call harmonic impact, which is predicting vibration patterns dictated 3 additional sound ribs, producing a more solid sensation when you strike the golf ball. These as well have the same additional pearl brush finish that you have on the JPX 921 Forge, which gives it a nice, clean, and classic look to the iron. And also, just like the JPX 921 Forge, you're getting that stability frame, which is that extreme perimeter weighting with the toe bias for stability on off-centered strikes. All right, real quickly, I want to take you to Mizuno's website. I'd like to show you the difference in the specifications, again, between 2 different types of iron. So on the left, you're going to see the JPX 921 Forge, and on the right, you're going to see the JPX 921 Hot Metal. With a 4 iron, you're looking at a loft of 21 degrees on the Forge versus 19 degrees on the Hot Metal. So the Hot Metal are going to be a couple of degrees stronger and allow you a little bit more distance with those clubs. 7 iron, you got 31 on the JPX Forge, and you have 29 on the Hot Metals. And then lastly, the pitching wedge, you have 45 versus only 44 on the JPX Hot Metal. So as you obviously go up those clubs there with the higher lofts, they're going to get a lot more similar. But as you see the difference in the lower clubs, the 4 iron, you got about a 2-degree difference between the two. So wanted to give you a little bit more input on the clubs. Let's go ahead and take you back into the studio now. We're going to tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing here with our testing and the different things we'll be doing using the golf simulation programs as well here at Garage Golf, testing out both of these irons today. And now, meet the testers. Here's today's Tale of the Tape. Four. 4.
All right, just hit a couple of shots with this JPX 921 Forged, the gap wedge. Really soft, really forgiving. I really love the weight on it. I think this is a great club.
Shot.
So I've been hitting the JPX 921 hot metal. For some reason, I'm loving the feel of this. I don't know why, it just feels comfortable in my hands, and when coming down through the ball, I really like the way it feels at impact.
Hey everyone, it's me Danny. I've been testing out the JPX 921 Forged irons. Now I'm over to the hot metals. My handicap is around a 5, so I'll be giving you the perspective of a low handicap golfer. Let's check them out. I will say with both clubs, the ball is jumping off this club face, but with this hot metal, wow, it's pretty incredible. I'm carrying it about 170. See if I can make it happen again. Just carried it 180.
Better strike there for sure. See what kind of carry we're gonna get. 163 with a 178 total rollout. Backspin about 30, 33.52 total backspin on that shot. Launch angle at 13.8. So it does, you really don't have to work to try to get this up in the air. Of course, me as my swing speed, I'm about a 78 club speed, but it's really easy to make contact with these. I have different forearms that I've tested before, and this one's getting the ball up in the air nice and easy. I'm not trying to have to work to try to manipulate that. It's really good contact, feels nice and clean. It doesn't hurt a ton when you hit it off the toe. As you saw earlier, I hit off the toe and didn't even know it to go back to the video. But overall, really, really enjoying the experience with the JPX 921 Forged. So we got some good shots down with a 4-iron on the JPX 921 Forged. We're moving over to the hot metal now. We're gonna take some shots with it. 921 Forged were really easy to hit. I had a good time hitting them. I did have some missed strikes and some duffs and things that we've gonna take out for you as far as for overall numbers. But I'm curious to see if the hot metals help me get that ball in the air a little quicker and a little bit higher. So let's take some shots now and see how we do. Of course, at address, as you've seen on the video, definitely more offset, more back to this club, which will either inspire more confidence for you, or if you don't like that look, may throw you off a little bit. I'm personally indifferent on it. I kind of like seeing a little bit of, hey, you're gonna have some forgiveness if you misstrike this club, but let's see how it does when we do hit the golf ball. First shot, felt fantastic off the face. 181, 202, blew right by the JPX Forged. Again, I'm expecting a little more forgiveness with this club, but that first shot felt incredible. Let's hit some more now. And one more time, let's show you the club strike. Boom, perfect, right center of the club face as you see on the bottom right-hand corner there. For some reason, I'm not getting the club data right now. I'm gonna have to check into the stickers to see what's going on. But if you were to watch that again, right in the center of the club face where we made contact with that one. So let's keep going. Another good strike, nice little draw there. 181, 201.8. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my channel, my miss is always off the toe with my irons. In all honesty, I hit my driver probably around 245 to 250. So I'm hitting a 4-iron, total distance of 201 with these JPX hot metals. So far, super impressed. And of those of you at home watching, obviously I am a mid-handicap golfer, so yes, 250 with my driver, 275 on a good day. And that's something obviously I still need to work on, but so far, very, very impressed with the hot metals, especially in the 4-iron, 5-irons, that kind of range that could be ideal for me in my golf bag. All right, so let's go ahead and share some of the numbers with you real quick. And I'm gonna try to do this really, really quick. So if you want, what I'm gonna do is leave them up for you. We'll start with Danny. He's our 5 handicap. And if you need to pause the screen, that way you can see the numbers. But I'm not gonna go into everything in detail, try to keep this nice and short and sweet. But what you're gonna see across the board for all 3 of us is obviously our carry is gonna be longer for the most part across the board with the hot metals. And that's obviously the difference of that is in the specs and in the loft. So that's nothing that we weren't expecting from going through this process. But what I wanna kind of look at is anything that would maybe stand out. You're gonna see very similar spin numbers as well across the board for Danny. And we start off with the 4-irons on the top. Then we go to the 7-irons here in the 2 middle, and then in the bottom, these are going to be our wedges. So we see a whole lot of that as well. Of course, the other thing we're going to look at is apex. So like from something like the hot metal in the gap wedge, and that's going to be 95 for the apex on average versus 81 with the forge. So I did notice that the hot metal got up significantly higher on the apex than it did for the forge, pretty much across the board as well. So 121 with the hot metal 7-iron versus 110 for the apex with the forged, and then 81 and 85. So actually the 4-iron for the forged got up a little higher for Danny. The other thing we want to look at, especially when you're comparing clubs like this, is we want to look at the grouping. So let's look at the 4-iron just for example for Danny. I want to show you that. Obviously you see the color for the 4-iron for the forge and the color for the 4-iron for the hot metal. And let's go ahead and look at the group. So again, the forged here for Danny, and then here's the larger dispersion circle is going to be for the hot metal. So Danny was able to control that forge a whole lot more than he was that hot metal. He kind of sprayed all across there. So one thing he mentioned for sure is liking the feel of the forge and liking the control that he had with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at Gilbert's numbers now as well. All right, and again, here's Gilbert's numbers, and I'll leave this up so you can pause this if you need to see it. And Gilbert's our high handicap golfer, 19 handicap. And again, you're going to see across the board his carry is going to be higher with the hot metal than it's going to be with the forged. Again, if we get down to that gap wedge, you're going to see a higher apex with the gap wedge at 45 versus 36.8. You also see a higher spin number with the hot metals in regards to versus the forge and what we see there. So that's definitely something to kind of take a look at with Gilbert's numbers as well. Now let's go ahead and look at his dispersion circles here in just a minute also. So with the dispersion circles with Gilbert, let's go ahead and look at the wedge here, first of all, to start off with. Here you see the hot metals and here you see the forged. And you're going to see a tighter dispersion circle here with the hot metals than he had with the forged. The other thing to look at would be the forged versus the hot metals with a 7-iron. Now, while he hit the ball further with the hot metals, you're going to see a tighter dispersion circle here with the 7-iron than you have here with his hot metals with the 7-iron as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. Both of these are pretty tight dispersion circles for the gap wedge, but this is definitely a better dispersion circle for him using that 7-iron. And lastly, that brings us to my numbers here. And again, I am about a 13 handicap, so I wanted to kind of share that with you as well. The 4-iron, I just fell in love with the hot metal 4-iron. I mean, I definitely carried it further. Total distance was further. That's definitely something to keep in mind. And again, across the board, I'm going to hit it further as well, just like everyone else, because of the lofts are going to be a little bit different. And in all honesty, the club's a little more forgiving. We look at anything like ball speed, you're going to see across the board also the ball speed with the hot metal is going to be higher than with the forged irons as well. Club speed is obviously unique to your individual swing. Backspin, 2467 versus 3008. So with the 4-iron, I'm getting more backspin with the forge than I was with the hot metals, which also would factor in possibly for some of the distance there as well. Same thing with the forged gap wedge versus the hot metal gap wedge. So let's take a look at the apex. Now, my apex dispersion isn't that big of a difference between what I saw with Gilbert and Danny's. Mine's at 78.4 versus 74.3 with that gap wedge. So let's take a look at the dispersion circles now, and I'll show you that here as well from my shots. So overall, you're going to see I hit these pretty close in regards to the dispersion circles. Here with the gap wedge, you're going to see that they're pretty close as well. With 7 iron, you're going to see a little bit more of a discrepancy with the hot metal being a little bit more spread out. I did hit the Forged 7 iron quite well. But with the 4 iron as well, here you see my 4 iron with the hot metal, and then here in front of it is going to be the Forged. So I'm hitting it further. I have strikes that are closer to the middle, and definitely can't beat that 4 iron. So again, maybe some kind of combination of the two would work for me a little bit. I definitely love both irons. But I really fell in love with the long irons for the hot metals.
All right, guys, it's Gilbert. As a high handicap golfer, I tested out both irons. And for me, I would actually choose the JPX 921 hot metal. Just the forgiveness of it, the little cavity back whenever it's down at the ball, it gives me a little confidence I need that I can be able to hit the ball well. Helps me get the ball up in the air, which definitely I need. The Forged, whenever I did make great contact with it, it really felt soft, but the hot metal gives me that extra confidence behind the ball that I'm really looking for. So if I was going to choose one, it would definitely be the hot metal.
Hey everyone, it's me, Danny. I was taking the swings as a lower handicap golfer's perspective, around a 5 handicap. I got to test out both the JPX 921 Forged and hot metals, and if I was going to have to choose one, I think I would have to go to the Forge. Granted, I did hit the hot metals a little further, but to me, it's not about the distance. I'm more about the control and feel of a golf club. And as I put this golf club behind the ball, it looks really good at address. It looks a little thinner than the hot metals. And to me, that's what really sets it apart. So for me, it's the Forged irons.
All right, now, so from a mid-handicap perspective, if I'm giving you my advice on the clubs as far as what we tested out today and the numbers and everything that we saw, between the JPX 921 Forge and the JPX 921 Hot Metal. Here's my take on both of them. Both of them are incredible clubs. They both feel great. They're really good as far as when you make contact. The Forge is going to give you a little more feedback as far as where you struck the ball and miss hits and different things. The Hot Metal, obviously, you saw my 4 iron shots. You would have to pry this out of my cold, dead hands for you to take this club from me. But my thoughts are, and what Mizuno's really good about, is if you look at these clubs, I mean, they look very similar across the board and having these in your bag. So my whole thought process with this is, if I were to say order a set of these clubs, I'm ordering a mixed set. I'm going with the hot metals, probably from somewhere between the 4 to 6 iron, maybe even the 4 to 7 iron. And I would go with the Forge from the 8 iron on up, just to have that nice feel, a little bit easier to hit as far as those clubs being up further 8 iron through the pitching wedge, gap wedge range, and having that nice Forge feel and having that nice soft buttery feel when you make good contact with these clubs. But having a 4 iron 200 plus yards for me is incredible. You know, I'll take that any day. I even struggle with a hybrid. So hitting a 4 iron consistently, and it felt like a trampoline coming off of this ball for this club. It was a really, really good feel. So overall, that's my advice. That would be my recommendation, at least from myself. Of course, you want to get yourself fitted, get yourself tested, but do not pass on the Mizuno JPX 921 series of clubs. Get them tested, get a good feel for what you like at home. But from a mid-handicap perspective, at least for myself personally, that's what I would do in my situation if I were going to get fitted for these clubs. And I don't think I would be disappointed with either of these at all. All right, so now we're moving on to the second part of our video, which is our Garage Golf Challenge of the Week. We're going to be using the JPX 921 Forge and the JPX 921 Hot Metals. We're playing this week, we're going to call it Georgia Country Club. You may be familiar with it. And we're going to be doing all of the par 3s on the course using nothing but each iron. What we're going to do is see who gets closest to the hole. We're going to take one shot with each club, see who gets closest to the hole, and see who gets bragging rights for that particular hole moving on forward today. You guys ready to test it out?
Born ready.
Let's see who wins that hole, who gets close to the hole. We take putting off all together, and which of the clubs for each of us gets us closest to the hole. Let's do it. Get up there. At least on the green.
On the green, at least.
How far away? 69 feet. All right, so I'm 69 feet away, and Danny's up next.
Not within 2 feet.
Within 2 feet.
Within 2 feet.
Within 2 feet. 11 feet 6 inches. All right, you're winning right now.
It actually says 10 foot 2 inches.
Oh, 10 foot 2 inches. Okay.
It's all right. Just a bit short. Just a bit short.
Ah, that one went left. Good distance though.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, that hurt me a little bit. Oh.
Oh, hit the rake.
All right, so Danny wins hole number 1. We're moving on to the second, par 3. It's gonna be too much, sir.
Starting to come back.
Too much. Way too much. Oh, come on.
Oh my God, is this gonna happen in simulator world?
Wow. 8 feet 4 inches.
8 feet 4 inches. Did I ever say I like these forged irons? Man, nice.
Everything must go left. That'd be good too if it hit the green.
And that was the right distance. Ooh, just right. Oh no, it's starting to go right. Oh no.
You really like those forged though.
I really like those forged though. Dang
You
it.
do. Okay. Oh no. Come on. That felt good.
She didn't have me move to the right. Oh man.
I still take pin high there any day. That's a tough putt though, I'm not gonna lie.
Oof. Whoa.
It's a good strike though.
Oh, get a kick.
Get up there.
Get It's a good strike though.
So Danny's up 2-0. We got 2 holes to go, so if he wins one more, then me and Gilbert are done.
All right, so I'm up 2 holes. We are at the iconic number 12, 149 away. We are using the forged irons right now. I have an 8 iron. Let's see if I can end this.
Jesus. Oh, spin back and everything.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Mizuno, take my money. 7 foot.
7 feet. Wow.
Oh, that looks good. Sounds good.
It's all about distance.
Oh, what's it gotta get?
Nope. All right, we'll see what the hot metals do for me. There you go. Get there.
Get there, ball.
Get there.
Oh. Oh, I think I pulled it.
Definitely pulled it. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah, lucky
dang it.
kick.
Definitely carried like I thought it would.
All right, so literally down to my last shot. I'm using the 8 iron JPX hot metal. Let's see if we can get it there.
Sound like a
Come
solid strike.
Come on.
Sound like a solid strike.
Come on. Ah!
Bad kick.
All day I've been bouncing off that green. All right, I'm out. Gilbert's last hope.
All right, so I got the hot metal 6-iron, and it's all up to me.
Get there.
Oh,
bad bounce,
Bad
man.
bounce.
All right, so Danny's the winner of our Garage Golf Challenge of the week. He took all three out of the 4 of the par 3s there. What can I say, man? Hit the ball pretty well.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
What'd you think of those Forged irons?
Oh, man, the Forged arms are awesome. They really feel good, soft, and look really good in my hands.
I like the Forged irons as well. Gil, what'd you think of the 2 clubs?
I really like the hot metal.
Yeah. Yeah, we both, Gilbert and I both kind of struggled a bit with both of them today, but overall, the hot metal, especially when I was doing that 4-iron testing, huge fan of it. Again, I'm kind of a fan of both, so I'd maybe do more of a mixed set. But we had a great time testing out all the clubs. Mizuno really outdid yourself with these clubs. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to test them. And we can't recommend them highly enough for anybody out there watching this video. And again, we do things from an everyday average golfer's perspective. We got 3 different handicaps that we work with. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that. Make sure to join our Facebook group down below. That's where we communicate with you guys at home and answer any and all of your questions. If you're interested in building something similar to what you see behind me, golf simulator, interested in screens or anything like that, reach out to me at Roland at mygaragegolf.com and check out our landing page at www.rainershinegolf.com/garagegolf. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let us know if you have any questions on either of these irons. We look forward to answering those for you. We had a great time testing these irons from Mizuno. And until the next time, as always, keep on golfing. Thanks again.
Take my money, Mizuno.